Well, folks, we've done it. We've made it to our final piece of coverage from the most recent mining earnings cycle. And not a moment too soon, because we've got a slew of PEAs and mergers to cover here. But first, let's take a look at Monument Mining's results for the period ended March 31st. These guys are a bit different than other names. First, their primary asset is in Malaysia, and they just might be the only publicly traded name with gold mining operations in that country. Second, rather than report Q1 results, Monument is on a slightly different earnings routine, with the period ended March 31st representing their third quarter. All right, folks, we're talking Monument Mining, we're talking Q3 earnings. Let's dive in. Don't miss the Rural Symposium for Natural Resource Investing happening July 7th in Boca Raton. If you can't make it in person, that's not a problem. You can get your ticket to watch live online or on demand. We'll be there with the deep dive, so if you make it out to Boca, come say hi at our booth. If you want to sign up, click on the link in the description to get your pass. Monument Mining in the fiscal third quarter reported revenue of $19.8 million, which was a 33% increase on a year-over-year basis from the $14.9 million reported in the fiscal third quarter of 2024. This revenue was off the back of gold sales of 8,400 ounces, which was down slightly from 8,700 ounces in the year-ago period. Those ounces were sold at an average realized price of $29.45 an ounce, as compared to $20.97 an ounce in the year-ago period. Of particular note here is that revenue growth also came despite impacts from the ongoing tariff war, which saw shipping availability push a scheduled March shipment of concentrate to the following quarter, which will likely set the company up for a strong Q4 result now that those issues have been ironed out. Gross margin from mining operations jumped by 73% on a year-over-year basis, going from $7.2 million to $12.5 million, which in turn led to net income growth, with net income for fiscal Q3 totaling out at $4.9 million, or 1 cent per share, as compared to $900,000 or 0 cents per share in the year-ago period. Cash flow from operations, meanwhile, nearly doubled, moving from $6.2 to $11.3 million, while cash on hand moved from $23 million at the end of the second quarter to $30 million at the end of the third quarter. Working capital, meanwhile, improved to $39 million, which is up from $32 million at the start of the quarter. All right, let's move on to the production data. Monument in the third quarter processed a total of 192,000 tons of ore, which was up 15% year over year from 166,000 tons. Average mill feed grades were also up, coming in at 1.76 grams per ton, as compared to 1.5 grams per ton in the year-ago period. And to complete the trifecta, recoveries also improved substantially, moving from 68.5% to 88.2%. The improvement in recoveries was the result of a number of improvements made by Monument, including the installation of a new filter press alongside the use of new reagents and the treatment of higher grade transition and fresh sulfide ore. Gold production as a result was up substantially on a year-over-year basis, with Monument producing 9,500 ounces of gold as compared to 5,500 ounces in the year-ago period. Despite the improvements, however, the dramatically higher price of gold led to higher royalty rates, which in turn meant that cash costs declined only marginally, falling from $882 an ounce to $874 an ounce, despite the improved recovery rate and grades. And after higher sustaining capital and exploration expenditures on a year-over-year basis, all-in sustaining costs actually moved higher, going from $1,273 to $1,366 an ounce. Those higher exploration expenditures, however, are being conducted in an effort to expand the current mine life of the Selinsing gold mine, which is kind of important for the long term. Finally, there's the Murchison project, which is found in Western Australia. Monument in the third quarter continued the process of reviewing the operation, with an economic assessment said to be underway to determine whether it is worth restarting the operation amid record high gold prices. Exploration is said to be ongoing here, while a review on the geological database and archive was completed subsequent to the end of the quarter. A confirmation drill program is also set to take place this year. Post-quarter end, 2 non-binding collaboration agreements were entered into for the on-site mill here, referred to as the Bernacura mill, with evaluations in the works to determine whether it makes sense to upgrade the mill to a capacity of 750,000 tons per year. All right, so let's wrap it up. Monument, despite their small size when compared to peers, is building a bit of a war chest in terms of working capital, which they have managed to do solely as a result of being effective operators of a mine that is on track to do about 35,000 ounces of gold production this year. With the potential for growth in the future from restarting operations and continued strength in the gold markets, things are looking quite positive for this name. Not to mention, they've stated that one of their top 3 goals is to conduct a disciplined acquisition for further growth. All right, everybody, we're almost done mining earnings season. I don't know, we could get hit with a couple more, but like I said, we're now starting to look at some of the acquisitions happening, some of the PEAs that are coming forward, so we're going to be having some content on that. If there's stories you want us to cover, as always, let me know in the comment section. And guys, as always, thanks for watching.